We're looking at our BAS Limited Jaguar Series 1 and 2 interior kit. We're looking at the major kit here in a beautiful tan. We're looking at a Series 1. The Series 2s are very similar and have very much the same inclusions. Those inclusions are the most comprehensive in the business. You will not find a more complete or accurate replacement interior kit anywhere on the planet. We're very proud of this. Series 1, they're a great looking car and increasing in value all the time. Same with the Series 2s and coupes. But particularly the great lines and well worth restoring the Series 1s. We're looking at an overview of our interior kit here, and then we'll look at everything in greater detail. There's actually not enough room on our computer bench here to lay it all out. We've got majority of it, and as I said, we'll look at it closely, step by step. One of the things we're famous for at BAS Limited for our interior kits are inclusions and attention to detail. Everything is included for the entire cockpit of the car, down to the smallest pieces. The clips for the panels, brand new door panels, brand new A-post panels, kick panels, the dielectrically heat welded door panels. That's a machine that you can see on one of the videos that's about to follow. We dielectrically heat weld in-house. If you don't have this very expensive equipment, then you are not able to replicate this. You see the stitch lines and things like that. That's what the mom and pop upholstery shops have to do. That's not how we do it as manufacturers. You can see all the attention to detail on the stitching, absolutely perfect, embossed leather, molded headrest foams, diaphragms. It's a very, very complete kit. All of this interior is cut on our Gerber cutting machine. It's a CAD controlled cutting machine. Here's the operating head. You can see it there. And we're going to look over here and see the CAD file. This is the panel kit file. You can see the pockets for the doors, the sewn pockets for the pulls on the doors, console, door panels, and so on. That's one of two cuts. It's a large cut for this car. There's a lot of material used, and there's the other part, front and rear doors. So this ensures accuracy. It also ensures that every single piece, and you can see them all across the top there, is included and doesn't get forgotten. The carpet set is cut this way. This ensures our absolute accuracy. We unconditionally guarantee our XJ kit to fit exactly as original and to be exactly as original. If it's a sewn piece, like these pockets that are sewn for the front door, they're supplied sewn like this. The pocket for the door lock there, as you can see, top stitch. If it's a sewn piece, it comes sewn. If it's a cut piece, it's supplied appropriately cut oversized. These are the little covers for the brackets within the armrest. They get covered in vinyl, and we even provide those. Carpet studs, rear, that's the rear. Even the little covers that cover the plinths on the floor that hold the front and rear seats, front seats up. 8 pieces that included. And the great thing is, with our CAD cutting system, you can see it laid out here in the book. Each of these color coded because they go to different departments, but you get the idea. There's the underfelt set. Look at that, for instance. There's great detail. That it's very hard to cut this stuff by hand, and these come with all the holes punched in and cut. Every single piece that you need. There's the carpet set. And again, it's all CAD cut. So there's the overview, and then we'll look at everything in detail. I'll just before we end this segment, I will say that of course all the materials are imported from the UK. There's a few exceptions, but for the most part exactly as original. There are a few pieces. The carpet, for instance, is no longer available, but we'll go through that when we look at everything in detail. We'll first start by taking a closer look at the carpet set. This is the XJ Series 1, Series 2 is exactly the same. The original carpet for the car was a carpet that is no longer reproduced. The carpet was called flock felt pack carpet. If you have any original, you'll recognize it. It has a bristle that's electrostatically charged in manufacturing. It's glued to a felt back in. It was not a very good carpet. If you have any original, you'll see how it has bald spots and it's a synthetic. It was a way of Jaguar cheaping out. In 1969, they introduced it into the E-types and carried on with the XJs. They did it because they replaced that Wilton wool carpet, which is very expensive for them and for us. So the flock feltback carpet, original carpet, is not available. However, even if it was, it's unless you well, obviously it's just simply not available. However, that's just as well, because it wasn't the greatest carpet. The Wilton wool is a much higher quality carpet. We have this in 13 colors. It's got the 5-6 millimeter pile, rubber backed, and the carpet set is complete. Everything is cut, again CAD cut. Every single piece of carpet that was original to the car is supplied. You can see that we have the original Storvik heel pad, which is the original rubber pads in tan to match. Everything comes with the Velcro sewn in, and you can see how that's done. On the mats, it's beautifully bound in the matching tan. We have a special machine that puts this binding on, and you can see how nicely that's done. Rear mats the same. I won't look at every single piece, but every piece that's required is there. As is the underfelt set. I showed you the CAD file. Look, you can see, imagine trying to cut all this by hand, cut in a round circle like that with a knife. I'm just removing those from the Gerber cut, and then you can see these pieces go into the on the floor there's little divots, and these fill those divots, and then the mats go on top. So we've replicated the patterns from original car, and that's also included, as are the male and female carpet studs, and I believe there's 16 of each for the mats. And that's a pretty good overview of our XJ Series 1 carpet set. We'll now look at the XJ Series 1 and 2, in this particular case Series 1. Seat covers. A lot of cows give up their life for the XJ. Big pieces of leather come right out the middle of the hide. Jaguar in 1969 at the factory, starting with the E-type, introduced this embossed pattern into the seats. This was a way of them being able to hide scarring and other issues in the leather. That was the main reason for it. It's also a pretty good look, and we replicate that exactly. Now, a lot of our competitors do not have the correct tool for this and do not reproduce this as it was from the factory. They tend to have a perforation, meaning that the leather is cut. It was not cut. Jaguar never, it's a diamond pattern that's pressed in, and there is no perforation. And it really does spoil the leather and the seats if you try to do it any other way. You can see the backrest piece. Here's the armrest that's within there. You can see it beautifully top stitched. Has a little pull tab. There's pieces of leather that's used in conjunction with the armrest. So if it's a piece, it's supplied cut to shape. And there's an example. It's the backrest. There's the cushion portion of the seat. Jaguar used these pulls on the back. You don't see any of this, but they use that synthetic headliner to save some material costs, I should say. And trademark of our BAS seat covers across all the full range is the very high quality scrim foam that we use. We have this specially made for us. We use different densities in different places. We back this. Some of these are backed in other types of foam. They have the calico pulls sewn in, and not only does it look good when you first install it, but it stays looking good because of the high quality materials. With that, let's talk about the materials, specifically the leather. One of the most important ingredients in the interior kit for Jaguar is the quality of the leather. And at BAS Ltd, we use the very best leather available to us, second to none. We don't. There's a lot of cheap leathers out there. We do not use the poor quality or Brazilian leathers that are available. We know some of our competitors do, and we pay a lot of money for this leather, and then we have to air freight it in from London. So the great advantage is that it's a great perfect color for the Jaguar range, and this is actually the way that you maintain the high quality finished look of the seats ongoing. So in other words, it's good, it's great and easy to make them look good when they're brand new, but how do they look in 6 months or 6 years? So that's the difference in the quality of the leather. The vinyls again are also imported from the UK and have the exact is the vinyl that goes on the back of the rear seats. You can see it has the exact original factory grain, again imported from the UK. If it's a cover like these pieces that go on the back of the seats, it's supplied again pattern shaped, cut. Even the foam that goes underneath it is supplied, cut, shaped, ready to go. That's how detailed our inclusions are. We'll continue looking at the seats. The headrest covers, we'll set those aside, and we have the cushion and backrest, much the same as the front. Look at the headrest here, beautifully top stitched. You can see now, notoriously on these XJs, people are always surprised how big an XJ headrest should look. All the original cars I've ever seen, regardless of where they are in the world, but it's particularly from hot places, they always shrink. You end up with this bag full of soft foam. I'm sure you guys have felt that in your headrest. We fix that by molding a urethane foam. This is a modern urethane foam that's exact shape, fits these covers like a glove. This type of molded urethane foam is a 25-year life foam. The factory used a very cheap composite foam, and that's why it turns to dust inside the original headrest. So these are included with the major kit, and if you're buying the standard kit, I strongly recommend adding those in. Same with the seat diaphragms. These are our seat diaphragms. They're made for the XJs. This is essential. This holds up the cushion portion of the seat, the foam, and it's essential that these are new, otherwise you just don't get the look of the new seat. It also jeopardizes the comfort, and it's just not worth putting brand new covers over old seat diaphragms. If they're not broken now, they will be soon. So again, the major kit includes those. I don't have the foams for the cushions available to show in this video. We're waiting for some stock to come in, so I'll add that in a later video. But I think that's it for the seat covers and seat components, and we'll look at some other things. Okay, we'll continue on looking at the XJ Series 1 panel kit inclusions. Again, at BAS, we're very well known for completeness of our kits. We even include, as you can see here, the polyfoam that goes under pieces. So for instance, and this is hard to get, this is 1/8" polyfoam. You can't just get this at your local foam supplier. It's difficult to get in North America. We bring this stuff in. Most local upholstery shops will have a 1/4", which is not correct. So this is the center console kit. There's the piece of the vinyl cut on the computer. Even the foam is supplied, as I said, underneath. This is the one for the switches in the rear, the cover. That's for the armrest. You can see how big a piece. We're generous with the sizes. You need a big piece to be able to stretch it on. The armrest, the lid on the console is quite small when it's finished, but that's how big you need to start off. The 2 kidney panels on the front of the console, again with the foam. Even this little plate, this aluminum in this particular case, that is the joiner between at the front, in front of the shifter. such as the attention to detail here, we even supply that, so you don't have to try to recover your own old one, or very often they're missing. What makes our kits also very user-friendly for both the retail and trade customers. So if you've got a local shop that's doing this for you, putting the rest of it in, these labels, now this is an XJ Coupe, the one for the Series 1 hasn't been printed yet, but I can show you that the concept is still the same. Every single piece from the kit comes in a separate bag. It's labeled so that the label, it's in a clear bag, and it'll say on here, you know, there you go, 8 each, seat mount plinth, synthetic headliner. So the plinth covers, and the label goes on. Then when the guy opens it or you open it, you know exactly what's in the bag, and with that where it goes. This will say center BC pillar panels, seat diaphragms, as you can see, all the foams, everything is labeled. The windlace kit, we have the original style windlace. This is specifically used for the XJs. We import this from the UK. There's not a broad range of colors for this. Black and a tan, a general tan, but it is difficult to get, and the reproduction only has limited colors. So that's included in the kit. Even pieces that you didn't even know you needed. 8 by 28 times 2. So 2 pieces of vinyl comes in a bag. It'll say vinyl for rear bulkhead wheel arch. These get glued onto the body of the car. You can see a little bit of it, a gap between the back seat and the there's a panel back there, and they were on the original car. We saw them when we developed our patterns and supplied with our kit. There's the 4 pieces for the upper door cappings. Again, generously oversized. We looked at these earlier, the pockets, this is the armrest covers and the sewn pockets, that's the liner inside the pocket, and the pieces for the rear pocket included in the piping. And again, the pieces for the stanchions in the pockets, and the lock surrounds, and the panels themselves. Again, beautifully dielectrically heat welded, and we use this is all CNC cut. It's a high grade, water resistant auto board that we have much better results, much better than the original masonite hardboard panel that tends to bring in water over the years. So we find that this stuff lasts a lot longer. And of course the 58 clips that are used for the door panels, we even supply those as brand new pieces. So that's a pretty good overview there of the details of our kit. Again, look at that beautiful top stitch, perfectly straight, even better than Jaguar, I must say. There you go. Okay, so we'll look at some other things. I think we got the trunk set and the headliner to see. Okay, XJ Series 1 guys, XJ Series 1 and 2. This is a 1, the same applies for the Coupe and the XJ Series 2. We have at BAS a very expensive and exclusive machine. It's called a dielectric heat welding machine. It's a 10,000 watt machine. It's essentially microwave that's produced, and it does these heat weld lines into the door panels. This is a piece of equipment that really separates us from the pack and from a regular upholstery shop. And that's a great advantage to us, of course. Everybody else has to stitch this and it looks terrible. So the original XJ panels were HF. We have all the tooling. The Coupe is slightly, there's a couple of variations for the Series 2s. This is Series 1, there's original. We have a record of the placement, and so it's all, it's all done accurately. We've successfully welded 2 of the lines, and now we're going to have a go at the last one here. And we'll operate the machine, we'll set the circuit, and the bed raises. It's a hydraulic. I'm sorry, it is pneumatic. It's air controlled. Now we have the power going up to 5,000 watts there. There's a delay reaction before the press drops. And for anyone that's interested, the primary side on this is 415 volts AC, stepped up from 208 three-phase. So American 208 stepped up to Euro three-phase. So it's very high voltage, very dangerous stuff. And now the bed has dropped. We'll take a look at the results, and hopefully it worked. Looks good. Now, didn't work here. Why? Speaker hole. You knew that, right? So there you go. Perfect success. And you can see the speaker hole. And the results are excellent. The same with this here. There's a hole for the handle. So that's it. Okay, we're showing how our beautiful German this old clunker, just wait a sec, this old clunker riveting machine from Germany. It's an oldie but goodie. It works very well. It drives the rivets right through fiberboard. In this particular case, XJ Series 1 8-post panels, kick panels. They're difficult to make. They're made of 3 pieces. We have a special press here for making the creases. You can see the press machine, and it allows us to put these crease lines in the panel so the panel doesn't break. And then we will demonstrate the riveting, and Alex will show us how that's done. Bang, there it goes. And like I said, bit of an old clunker, but it works great. Now don't forget, this is driving that rivet through 2 pieces of fiberboard. There are some pilot holes drilled on this, but it's absolutely not necessary. They were drilled from the past when we made them by hand, but they're not necessary. You can drive right through the, actually go off to the side there, Alex, and demonstrate. You should be able to drive right through that. So there we go, right, that drove it right through. Didn't use the hole at all. 2 thick pieces of cardboard. It's about 1/4 of an inch, and you can see that it closes over the rivet on the back side. So anyway, just thought I'd show you guys that. Again, another example of specialty equipment that we have here at BAS that you will not find at your local upholstery shop. So finally, we're looking at the XJ trunk set or boot set for Aussies and Brits. It's a very comprehensive kit. Every single piece that you need for the boot is included. This is yet to be bound. The binding has to be put on this. I just grabbed this from the sewing department just to show for the video. It hasn't been bound yet, but the main trunk mat is bound all around, and these other pieces are bound appropriately. So every piece of hardura that's required for the entire trunk is included, including the pieces that get glued up onto the lid, the underside of the lid. You'll recognize these shapes, and they're also included, as are the side panels. Now the V12s came with this nice cloth material covered panel, and most of the 6 cylinders came with the grain board. You can have either or, whichever you prefer. If you want it, this is a nicer look, of course, than the grain board, but customer can choose whichever type he likes. So that's that. And finally, the last thing that wasn't included in the last segment is black vinyl. This is cut pieces for the pillar panels at the front, either side, left and right of the windscreen. The piece of vinyl that covers the steel panel that's at the back side of the rear parcel shelf kind of goes here. A large strip of vinyl included for that. And then last but not least, the parcel shelf itself has a brand new panel, including the panel for the vent on the top. And I think that just about covers everything there. Okay, we're looking at the A-post kick panels for the Series 1 XJ. We saw them being riveted together. Now they're fully upholstered here. Has the vinyl pull at the front, synthetic headliner on top is original, and they're exact replacements. That vinyl pull gets glued onto the pinch weld on the car, and these are included in our upholstery kit. And they're almost always broken in the car, so it's good to have the replacements. So I get asked all the time, "Hey Mr. Heritage, how do you get your feet so dead straight?" And I say, you have to have a $100,000 computer cutter machine like this. And that's how we do it. This is the sew foam inside the seats. This is BJ8. You see how the machine is cut in the slits in the sew foam. Not all the way through, only halfway through. Very difficult to do. And that makes our fleets absolutely straight. No hand cutting. That's the secret right there. Another reason that separates Heritage from the rest. XJ Series 1. We're looking at our beautiful work here at BAS. We're very happy with the way these seats turn. No, just kidding. Of course, this is the pictures of the before. Typical of XJ seats after 45 years. These headrests shrink badly, and the crumpled foam that was used inside turns to dust, as you can see here. Of course, we have the molded foams. The headrests are much bigger when they're new. They shrink considerably. This is typical of all the components that can get removed from the car and sent to us. They're all things that are difficult to cover, and it's strongly recommended if you go with us on the interior kit that you send us these types of items. Someone's put these big monster speakers in the door pockets. We're going to have to deal with those. Upper door cappings get sent. These things need to be handled very carefully. They're no longer reproduced. We're going to have a go at repairing this and seeing what we can do, but it is expensive and time consuming to do this type of stuff, so do handle those with care. This is a tricky little piece to cover. As you can see, it's getting the vinyl around that was difficult for Jaguar, and it's difficult for our guys. So there's the console lid, again typical with the crack in pieces for the console. Again, the center console itself in typical original condition, poor condition. This is a very difficult curve to get right, and we'll follow this one through to completion, and we'll look at it now, and the following video will show us working our magic here at BAS. Same with the dash pad. It's cracked, it's distorted, they're no longer reproduced. All of this has to be taken care of on the substrate. When the substrate is correct, we can then cover it with vinyl. This was a plastic, PVC, molded PVC. As I said, no longer available, so the only thing we can do is cover it with black Jaguar grain vinyl, so we end up with a good look, the right look. Of course, rear seats, much the same story. Lots of shrinkage here, leather snaps broken. The foams themselves and the springs tend to survive in good condition, like these ones, and so they're reusable. We repair the foams as necessary. You feel lumps and bumps under here, so all of that is taken care of in the installation. And yeah, so I think that's a pretty good overview. I said this is Jaguar XJ Series 1. I mean, this video will work for the 2s, XJ Series 2s, and the coupes. This is the type of things that get sent to us. So there you go. XJ Series 1, but this will work for 2s and coupes as well. It's an example of the type of things that can be sent to us. This is not included. The covers are included with the major kit. The work is not, with the exception of this parcel shelf, which is supplied fully trimmed like this. The other pieces, the covers are supplied, but if you send us these components, we can create this magic that you see here. So we have the console behind at the back of the console where the ashtray is. You can see how beautifully these are top stitched. These are on the Series 1 consoles, also the front pieces on the console. Beautifully top stitched center pillar panels. You can send us that piece that goes behind underneath the rear window. Other components that are inside the seat. At the time of filming here, the pockets are not finished yet, but it gives you some idea of what we can achieve here at BAS. Okay, so we finally finished here, XJ Series 1 showing here. These were very uneven underneath. They still are. They're molded fiberboard. There's nothing can be done when they're distorted. We try our best to straighten them up, but they're never perfect. But we have a technique of floating this over the top, so all the distortion is underneath these. And you can see how they end up looking. The new pads on the top, door cappings themselves, they're all trimmed ready to go. Another difficult piece. You can imagine how difficult that is to do. And guys did a great job there. And so that's it. And you can see the inner lining. The pocket is lined with the headliner material, synthetic, and they're all ready for reassembly. Again, this is not included in our kit. It is sold as an extra, as shop labor at flat rates that we can quote on, and so you know where you're at as far as costs. And I think customers can be very pleased with the results. Okay, we're going to show some of our work on XJ Series 1 in this particular case. Series 2, of course, very similar. The backrest at time of filming is not complete, so, and this is being shipped out, and I got an appointment to make, so this is all you get. Backrest will be done and shipped out, and I won't get a chance to film them this time. So there we go. There's the rear seat. Likewise with the front seat cushion has not been completed yet, but gives you an idea of our standards. Here you can see the headrest. Again, beautifully top stitched, embossed leather as original. And this particular customer, he wanted the back done in vinyl as opposed to the synthetic headliner, which of course is a much nicer look. But I think that overall you can see what we can achieve here if you send us your seat frames. Again, we have flat guaranteed price rates on this, so no one knows as far as cost, and you can see the results are absolutely perfect. Okay gentlemen, XJ Series 1 and 2, XJS, Coupe, and I believe 420G. In 1969, Jaguar switched from the good, expensive way of doing headliners to the cheap, inexpensive way of doing headliners. So in our kit, we offer the synthetic, correct factory original synthetic headliner that is used in all Series 1s and 2s XJs, right the way through S-Type. It's very thin, synthetic face, and a scrim back. Now what Jaguar did was they made this is what we call the headliner biscuit. It's fiberglass. This one's cut in half. The only way to remove them from your car is to cut them in half. However, if you want to take it out in one piece, you can, but you have to take the rear window out or front window. It's the only way to get it out. It's the way the Jaguar put it in. At the factory they put it through the rear window. This is some original synthetic headliner, and you can see that the scrim foam and the foam itself on the back end has totally disintegrated. This is common all over the world, especially in hot countries, but even in the UK, where I only saw sunshine 3 times, and it never gets that hot. Even there, the headliner falls off, and basically it's glued to this biscuit, and it was heat activated and vacuum formed to this, but it didn't work, and subsequently you end up with the glue on the biscuit. Now you can see this damage that was here. I just pulled a little bit of it. It works 2 ways here. One, it either sticks really well, too well, to remove, or it's falling off. It's one or the other. So if it sticks well and you damage it, when you put the synthetic headliner on, it shows through. So for the very best results, we recommend upgrading to the wool cloth headliner that was used pre-69 at Jaguar in the E-fixed head coupes and 2+2s, and actually the S-type. It's this product here. It's 100% wool. It's got a latex backing that's cold poured onto the foam in manufacturing. It's a closed cell foam, and there's some great advantages. One, you cannot separate the foam from the wool cloth. It's bonded to it, not glued to it. Secondly, you can press on this stuff as hard as you want with your fingers, and you will not indent it as you're gluing it, which is a great benefit. If anyone's ever done this, you'll know with this stuff, if you push too hard against the glue, you actually put your fingerprints right into it. It's a very difficult thing to do. So we recommend going with this. This gets glued right up to the roof of the car for the main section, and then the cant rails around the outside and the head and the other covers, front and back panels, get covered with the plain wool cloth to match. So that's the upgrade. It's 100% wool. The great advantage is it's much easier to install. You don't have to take the windows out, and more importantly, it'll last a lot longer, and frankly looks much better than the synthetic. So you can, if you're a stickler for originality and you want to have this, it's in the kit, and all I can say is good luck. I strongly recommend the upgrade. Okay, XJ Series 1 headliner. Little difficult to film, hopefully it comes through. This is the finished version in our foam backed wool cloth, which I've demonstrated in a previous video. It's kind of hard to film headliners. The pillar there has been, the black pillar has been retrimmed as well. Brand new cantrail boards, and of course the headliner itself is glued right up to the roof, so not only does it look great, it'll last, and it has that nice flat look that the synthetic doesn't have. And of course these panels at the front are retrimmed, but all in all you can see how beautifully it turned out. So there you have it. That's the upgrade to the wool cloth headliner. XJ Series 1 cantrail wool cloth. The plain wool cloth is provided in the kit. The foam back is used on the center section. If you upgrade the wool cloth, which is highly recommended, I'll go through that in a separate video. And move away from the synthetic headliner that was used by Jaguar. I'll cover that, like I said, in a separate video, but I want to show the cantrails right now. We're doing one here in-house. The kit includes the material, the plain wool cloth, to recover these on your own car. This panel here often survives, can survive, but often breaks as you take it out, and it happened in this particular case. If it does, we have replacement panels. They're not part of our interior kit offering, nor are they included in any of our competitors, incidentally, but they are available as an extra as required. So if you need these guys, we got them CNC cut in long-lasting blackboard. It'll do much better than the original, and that's how they look before they snap in. The XJ Series 1, Series 2, coupe, all of them, this is a common problem. This Californian car, the crumple foam, which is a composite foam, a cheap foam that Jaguar used, made of reconstituted foam. They molded foam this way. This is the console lid. You can see it just disintegrates in the 40 years of California sun, or actually any sun anywhere. They're often in bad condition. The cappings have survived well. One of these was rusted badly. There's a top-in foam that goes on top of the molded foam that has to come off. Obviously you can't cover over this, so that's got to be removed. If the substrate, the molded foam, is good, we can, now that one, you can see a good example of what happens when it gets dry. Okay, so we're going to be repairing that. These others are in okay condition. They're pretty good once the foam comes off. But these, as you can see, are completely disintegrated and need to be replaced. So we rebuild this foam using, here's the console lid being worked on. The guys have put a couple of layers in already to build up the sides. And then this is a modern closed cell foam that allows for it to be carved and sanded, so it becomes sandable and shapeable. So we use that to replace these. I'll show a video when this is redone, but you can see this is the foam that we use. So all of that has to be done before any recovering, for obvious reasons. While we're at it, we'll show the backboards on the back of the seats. So you can see the originals were in poor condition. This is common that they break, especially when they're being removed from the car. And so we have these, our own CNC cut, and they work as a replacement, obviously, and the new panels get attached. They have to be clean, of course, sandblasted, painted, just like you see here. Okay, so now we've got the finished XJ dash. You can see it's beautifully covered in ambler vinyl, and all the damage that was there is now not visible. These covers that go on may need some reworking to fit, because this has now added about 1 millimeter of material, and those covers can actually be ground down, sanded down to fit, and that's the only option that you have, as the original panels are not available. And it turns out looking like new. So there's the end results. What separates BAS from lots of competitors? This does, gentlemen. Check it out. Mark II saloon. This is an automatic with an organ pedal. It's lots of variations of this file, or a few variations. So we picked the right one for the order. This is a chocolate brown. It's a custom color in this particular case, but a nice looking color. I believe it's opalescent gold or bronze, the car, so it should look good. Anyway, this is a demonstration of our cutter machine in use cutting this carpet set. So we've got the right file up. First thing to do, turn on the motor. That sucks the vacuum down. This carpet is being held down by this vacuum, very powerful vacuum that holds the plastic down. We then jog this into position and check to see if the carpet's straight. Come in and we press the button, and that's it. My job is over. It never fails to put a smile on my face watching this machine operate. This is the front mat, driver's side. Before this, we used to hand cut these. Very time consuming, difficult work. The machine makes it a lot easier, obviously, and we get the absolute accuracy, and we get best yield for material. So it's a win all the way. It's the big inner sill covers, inner rocker covers. Well, look at it plotting. As it cuts, it bolds the piece. So now that becomes bold. Now it's the second sill, slightly different shape. And when it comes to the end of this, it'll become bold. Done. Cut. On to the next one. Rear mats. Isn't it beautiful? You can see why I like looking at this. The best thing is it never asks for lunch break, never complains. Perfect employee. It's also an American made machine, made in Connecticut by a company called Gerber. Beautiful machine. I'm running out of battery on the camera, so I think you may see the end of this cut, but I think you guys can get the picture from here. The gearbox sides. I'll just lift one of the pieces off that we finished with this. There's the mat. Look how this cut around the paddle just perfectly. And then we just pick up the pieces, goes to the sewing department. Those two little pieces, they're either side on the rear seat.